in there.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Tom, and I'm joined with the boys as always. Also Tom and Tom.
If you had tits, would you play with them?
Yeah, I play with the ones I have now, so yeah, probably.
Like if you weren't born with tits, if you just like woke up one day and you just had a big old fucking honking pair of tits on you,
Right.
I don't think I'd get much done. First of all,
you just play with them.
Yep.
If I had like huge tits, is what you're referring to,
Yeah.
I would definitely just see what I could do with them. I think it would become more of like less a sexual thing and more like a slapping things and like trying to crush things and
Like,
you know what I mean?
Crushing cans and shit.
Yeah, I've seen that shit. That's brutal.
I like those ladies that crush watermelons with their thighs. Ooh.
Welcome to the Master of Evil podcast. I'm Mike. Tonight we're talking about a comic book by I think, at this point it could be a comic book creator favorite of ours. This is the third book that we've done by them. Wes Craig, and the comic book is Kaya. I believe it's Kaya. I assume Kaya or Kaya, but Kaya, I believe. And this is a book that hasn't come out. This is the first issue of a series that's set to come out in early 2022.
No, in the foreword in front of the book, it says this is going to come out after Deadly Class ends in the middle of 2022.
Okay, so in the middle of 2022. Okay, yeah.
Which this came out in black and white already last year as a preview, and they colored it and released it again as another preview this year.
So do we think that the book, because it says it's an ongoing series, which means obviously it's ongoing, but do we think it's going to be black and white as an ongoing series or in color? Do you know?
I have a feeling it's going to be colored probably by the same person that just did this one, because he talks about how excited he was and all the, how it brought it all to life and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Now I want to see the black and white version of it.
Yeah, me too, because I feel like that his art changed a little bit with kind of some of the color palettes that happen throughout,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's that classic thing of like, changing the art style to differentiate now and then, so to speak. But yeah. It worked really well in this. I think it was subtle. His art is so unlike anything else. And sometimes at first I look at it and I'm just like, I have to level set with it and be like, oh, okay, this is what I'm looking at. And then after like a few pages, I'm like, yeah, his art's dope. Like I do like it, even when it changes so drastically from like what he draws in Deadly Class, even to Gravediggers, to this is so drastically different. But his style remains the same, and I love it. I think it's fun. It's kind of got that almost somewhat like. It's not like it looks like Mignola's stuff, but like it just reminds me of it. You know what I mean? It's got that simplicity and uniqueness to it, like his.
Yeah.
What did you guys say?
I was just going to say, like you were talking about how, when he does the backstory parts, the art is different. So it kind of gives you that different feel.
He's such a fucking asshole.
Cats, man.
I just realized.
It was, you could tell it was more of almost like a Dustin Nguyen style when he was telling the back stuff. It was like, it looked like watercolor. There wasn't harsh, outlined figures. It was all like shaded kind of things. And it was cool to see that because, like you said, his art changed so much just between different series. And then that's a whole different change within the same series. And it's neat. Right.
And it's funny that you, so I guess quick, like there's this brother, sister, half sister And the sister seems to be the main character, the protagonist in the story, and she's essentially has to protect him. And there's all types of like what seemingly is like robots and potentially some type of monster esque things going on. And I don't really, you don't really know much more than that, but it seems like it's going to be like a fantasy kind of epic adventure, you know. And it's funny you bring up Dustin because like when in a few of those shots and like some of the drawings of the robot, it very much reminded me of his art from Descender,
Mm-hmm.
which is what he did with Jeff Lemire. And I it's like I saw the same in what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, what'd you think about this book?
I liked it. It was
Yeah.
even though it was short, like it was, I don't know, it made you want more. Like it didn't have to tell you that much with like explaining what was happening and shit like that, but I mean, I just want to see some wizards. Wasn't like there's just like a wizard arm or something, right?
Yeah.
Just a magic wizard arm.
Yeah, and the brother talked about how they could have left him to the wolves multiple times, and I wonder if those are like actual wolves or it's just the sand like robots that are out there trying to find him in the first place. So I'm curious how far it goes with these different creatures and stuff.
Yeah, the reason I think it gets a little bit expansive is like I searched around for some type of like description, and the only thing I could find was something that Wes Craig posted himself, and it was Kaya is a young warrior tasked with protecting her little brother as they cross a dangerous land of mutants, monsters, and robots. So I feel like we really only saw robots in this, and like there was maybe some type of like either monsterish, mutant-esque type individuals, but that I mean
the brother kind of looks like a mutant.
Yeah,
he's kind of odd looking.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of the like the mutants from Dark Knight.
Oh yeah. So you know what I continually love about his art is like how minimalist he seems, like, but how like specifically like the people he draws and their faces, like their faces are very minimalist, like it's circles and like very basic facial like features, but like the expression is so like when I look at a page, like I know exactly the emotion that every one of his characters is feeling, and I can always delineate which character is which. Like there's never any like like you look at some art and like a lot of them look the same. Like his just doesn't. I feel like I can always tell where the emotion on the characters.
I meant to send you pics of the panels that I liked. It was really just that like panel where she's like running up the fucking like I guess I don't know, it's like some part of the terrain or something, and whenever she smacks the fucking the robot. And there's like another one where she's just like I don't know.
So there's starts off pretty basic. I think a lot of it was just a lot of decent dialogue. Like I said, like I just feel like when you look at the characters, like you can see it's so minimalist, but like you know exactly what they're feeling.
I want to know what's going on there. Go back up where her arm is doing that crazy thing.
So the arm is. So I feel like the arm is this continuous thing that they never explain. It seems like it's mechanical, but somewhat magical, right? Like she has the almost like the anime big wind up punch blast at the end where she takes care of the. It's like almost like it seemed very.
Right. Maybe the arm is somehow connected to the robots.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say, that I'm going to call it now that it's part of one of the broken robots that her uncle may have destroyed and used it to save her life, kind of deal.
Right, because so this is where they do the flashback
Oh, maybe there was no mention of wizards. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, from the
Yeah,
wizards.
he won the arm from Wizards, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Wizards of the Black Mountains at the Great Coast. I mean,
No, at a great cost.
at a great cost. Oh yeah, great cost. Yeah, okay, my bad.
And I thought you said at the Grape Coast. Sorry.
Great. No, I didn't go that bad. And
Is
then
that,
there's
is that Galactus?
that's Galactus, the robot. We all know, famous
like
made
a
famous by Steve Ditko in DC Comics.
Futurama Galactus.
Yeah, but it's Bender the Galactus, the Galactor. But like, I like this, like I guess it's really not then and like there. This is then, but like this is still like now. You know, she's got the robot arm, and she's with her brother, right? Little brother.
Well, that's still in the past before the story currently, because
I guess the robots,
yeah, this is when she first runs off with him to take care of him because her uncle, gives her the job to take care of him.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's not part of the robots because all the robots seem like they're silver or like a grayish color.
Yeah,
and their arm is gold.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting that Wizards would use something like robotic looking, though. That's
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's somehow tied to like the robots and shit. Like that little panel where she's like running, go down a little bit. The middle panel.
Yeah.
That shit is cool as fuck.
So she says the gods give you any powers yet, as if to say like what, like the robots don't have like these God-given powers, and she may.
No, the brother.
Oh, the kid. She's
yeah.
talking to the kid. Oh,
yeah.
Praying to the gods to give him superpowers, and she's like, "Has it happened?" And he goes, "No." It's she sounds very doubtful that anything like that exists, and I don't know what exactly why. Maybe it's age that the little kid thinks that he's going to get some powers to fulfill some prophecy he keeps mentioning.
Yeah, so now that I run through this again and start to look like, this would have served better if I read it twice. I feel like I didn't read it.
It almost doesn't even seem like a single issue of a comic book. Like it seems like it goes by so quickly.
Yeah,
it might, he claimed it was Kaya 0. So, it could be shorter because of that, or maybe maybe it is half of a first issue. And so the first issue will be this with, 10 more pages or something. I don't know.
We should print it out and sell it.
I actually also felt like that, like it felt kind of complete, like, right? Like there was some type of like overarching story, it was like introduction of these two people, introduction of an antagonist, and a little bit of struggle, and then they defeat the person and story's over. So like I think it was a fun introduction, and I'm sure it's not like, if you say it's like the 0 issue, Tom, is that what you said? Like, I think that's fun. I'm excited. I think this would be fun to read. I hope it lasts longer than Gravediggers. That's all I got to say, right? Because
what Gravediggers is 8 issues or something?
Yeah, something like that. And it's always interesting to hear ongoing, right? Because like ongoing is like could be a little bit like.
Was it going to be published by Dark Horse?
I don't even know the publisher on this. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Dark Horse.
I would imagine it would be Image, because I feel like that's who he kind of fucks with. But
I don't think it mentioned anything when he talked about when it's coming out or anything from who. So
it's definitely not listed on the PDF. That's for sure.
Let me see if it says it in the email. Because apparently he sent this out before, and then
that was the black and white version, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So,
go ahead and rate the book there, Spaceman.
I would say that I'll go with. I'm going to go with a 3 for story and a 3.5 for art. I really like his art. I think that I'll say it like with an being optimistic that I think this is like could be a really cool story, and if he starts to draw like really fantasy driven like crazy monsters and shit, I will definitely love this book if it really starts to get out there. So I'm excited for the book.
I'm doing a 10, bro.
No, you're not. Really?
5. Yeah, I like metal arms.
I like metal arms.
It's always been like a dream of mine to lose one of my arms and get a metal arm.
So is Full Metal Alchemist your favorite anime ever?
No, I just want like a metal arm from like Jax from Mortal Kombat, but just like one arm.
Yeah, I know the character. In Full
Yeah, I
Metal
know, but I don't
Alchemist.
watch that Full Metal Alchemist shit.
You shit. If you love metal arm, clearly.
Nah, I just
don't
like
love metal arms. If you don't watch the like main anime that is solely about a dude with a metal arm, so
that's the only reason I like Winter Soldier is because he has a metal arm.
To be honest with you, the only reason I like Winter Soldier is because of the movies. I've never had any.
But he wouldn't be as cool if he didn't have a metal arm. You know what I mean? If he was just like a regular old fucking assassin guy and he just didn't have it, like he wouldn't be cool if he didn't have a metal arm.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, how cool would it be? Like you tell your wife, man, I just did a podcast with my friend and he has a metal arm. She'd be like, holy shit, a metal arm.
Yeah.
How do you get that? Yeah, I mean,
my wife would probably love me so much more if I told her.
Yeah, she'd be like
a podcast with a guy who had a metal arm.
She'd be like, damn, our fucking marriage was falling apart, and then you fucking tell me your friend has a metal arm? It just saved the whole relationship.
I called my wife, and she's like, listen, I'm not coming to Michigan. And I'm like, listen, there's a guy over here. I'm doing a podcast with him. He's got metal arm. She's like, I'll be there tomorrow.
A metal arm, you say?
Metal arm, you say?
Like Full Metal Alchemist, the anime, and you're like, no, not like that.
Not like that bullshit.
I would probably give it
10.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
10 in it, bro. It's the first 10.
No, didn't we give Deadly Class all perfect scores?
I think I definitely gave Deadly Class perfect scores.
Pretty sure
that was the only thing that's been there. Headlopper was close.
Headlopper was definitely close.
Yeah.
Headlopper, I would up my vote to a 10 if you had got me those signed trades, but you didn't. So
I tried. He sold out of every book he had the day before I got there. I asked him. I was like, "Hey, where are your books?" And he's like, "I had 6 of each volume." He's like, "And that was it." And
you should have made him do a sketch for all of us on a napkin.
I don't carry napkins around. I need to do that.
You know what? I'm literally gonna start like I think I wish I would have done this, but I think a new con trend that I'm gonna start doing is carrying around Chipotle napkins and just having people draw fucking sketches on them and then being able to send them out to my friends.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That's That's one good thought you've had, Alan. It's a good thought.
Not the metal arm.
I would appreciate the metal arm way more if you would just admit that you love Full Metal Alchemist.
No, I just want a metal arm, bro.
Okay.
Would you if you could choose which metal arm or which arm you had to become a metal arm, would you choose your jack off hand or would you choose the other one in fear of never being able to jack off again?
Oh, I'm gonna jack off.
Your metal arm?
It doesn't even matter if I have arms. I'm gonna figure out a way to jack off.
Alan will drill a hole in the wall and stuff it with foam and just do something, whatever he needs to do.
I'll do something. I'll do something. All right, I think I would do my left arm as a metal arm because I'm right-handed. I don't know why. I think it would be smack somebody with my metal arm.
See, yeah, you would give it to your weak arm because then you have two good arms.
I know. I actually think I'm stronger in my left arm than I am my right arm, which is really weird.
But you're right-handed?
Yeah.
Go like this. That's the arm you have to do it with.
Yeah,
left arm.
Yeah, that's what I just
Whichever
said.
arm. Yeah. Whichever arm you're like, ha! Because you have to be able to start doing those poses.
No.
Now you're going to be a metal arm. Yeah.
I'm not posing with my metal arm.
You're a superhero. You got to.
You're like, give me some damn chicken wings, and I'd smack it down.
Chicken wings!
I live for this. I need that. More the chicken wings than the metal arm, I guess.
I have a metal arm. Where's my chicken wings at? They're like, what the fuck? The guy has a metal arm's back.
You're just like a homeless person to them. You know about how much you want chicken wings for free.
And I would not wear a shirt either. And I feel like right around the metal arms, all kinds of weird bruising and shit because
yeah,
there's like that distressed,
like weird
soft tissue, skin
weird colored
like
veins
stretching.
and shit.
Yeah.
Skin's not going to take to metal that great. It's not.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, it's going to look gnarly. You're going to have all types of scars. So
I wouldn't be able to lift my metal arm. I would just be there.
So painful.
It's too heavy.
Chicken wings.
That's hilarious.
I would give this book a 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
That's a 4. A 4 for writing and a 3.5 for artwork.
I just want to read. I want to read more. Like none of these other books, some of these books that we've read hasn't really made me want to read more.
Yeah, I definitely get that, and I would 100% read more of this for sure.
It was like short. It's like the. I mean, I like the art. It has that like headlopper, cartoony, like extreme Adventure Time-y kind of feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it's good. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
There's some good chicken wings and choking kids comments in the chat there. You're missing out on.
Are there?
Man.
Oh, I'm so like
you're high, extremely high.
I'm high, but I'm just so we never have people in the chat anymore. I just stopped checking, but now that we do, Fan of Comics, what's good? VHS tape heads, what's good? Oh, Jeremiah, love you.
Why are we choking kids?
Choking kids. Somebody said that. And metal arms, awesome. Yes, I'm just not used to having people watch our show anymore, so I don't pay attention to the comments anymore. Because
I was thinking about.
I just pretty much consider this us just talking.
I was thinking about the episode that we did last week where we were talking about the zombie apocalypse and just how horrible it was. I keep thinking about that's a horrible episode.
You think so?
Yeah, that was horrible.
I thought that was fun.
Even after we finished it, I was like, "Fuck it, we accomplished nothing with this episode."
Yeah. All right, so I guess the only other really major thing. Well, I know there's one more thing that Alan wants to talk about or watch 15 times in a row, but we should talk about the Eternals briefly and our thoughts because we have.
That's true. He wouldn't have kept talking if my interrupting would have worked.
What's that?
Before we talk about Eternals, both of us, me and you, went to a different convention over this last weekend, and you should talk about it. Let us know how it was and stuff.
Yeah, I will. Here, let's do this.
See, he bought stuff. Look at that.
You see a man walking to the frame and like what is the Dewey Cox movie where the guy walks up to him and is like, "You want anything for lunch?" And it's just like a dick right next to his face. you just see the bottom half of a man walk in front of the camera.
All right, so first thing is I never buy figures, and especially NECA. But I bought these because I thought they were pretty cool, and it was relatively, seemingly affordable. So 2 NECA Misfits figures For whatever reason, the black one seems to be way more expensive than the red one.
The red one's cooler.
I mean, I guess the red one's way more like available. There was also a third figure that was totally different design than these ones. It didn't have like the candelabra and the second hand. They were smaller, but it was only in red. The guy said that they only made them in red, and I didn't want to pay for it. It was actually cheaper than the two of these, but I like I just like the pairing of the two of those together. I'm contemplating whether I'm going to take those out and put them on a shelf somewhere when I move into my house, but I'm not sure yet. So,
did you buy books?
Yeah, I bought books. Yeah, I got a bunch of books here.
Because all we saw was the art that you got. Before.
Yeah, no, I know. I kind of went a little bit more high level, like just a few books. So I'm not crazy. I dug a lot. So I shouldn't say I dug a lot. This was Grand Rapids Comic-Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it was there's a lot of anime people there. There's a lot of cosplayers. There's a lot of that, but there was a good amount of like people who are like, I've been doing cons in Michigan for fucking 6 decades type people, and had some good booths, and were selling some pretty good books.
Way before there was Metal Arms, I was doing
Comic-Con. Before there was Metal Arms, I was doing Comic-Con, and
the Wizards of the Grape Coast.
I saw some high graded like X-Men 1s, FF 1s, Hulk 1. I saw a 5.0 Hulk 1. I mean, the book was like listed for like almost $200,000. Like there were some big books there. It was very random.
Who is buying these books at these fucking cons?
Nobody. And not a single person.
I get it. Like it's cool to show off in your booth, but I mean, who's really going to drop $200,000 at a fucking Comic-Con?
So I buy this book every time I see it.
Nice.
Mystery in Space 91. It's my favorite Infantino cover. I love particularly the fact that you have
isn't it
Ran and Earth. So they're 25 trillion miles away in space, but like the cover is pretty cool. And then it's very rare you see Adam Strange with the cover on his helmet like that, the glass looking cover. So I really like it. It's one of my favorite Infantinos. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
Isn't it the first team up of Hawkman and Adam Strange?
And first team up of Hawkman and Adam Strange, which would transition me to the next book because I'm fastly. So this is my new thing, right? Like not relatively new. I've always loved these characters, but now I'm really focused on them. So Adam Strange, the Atom, and Hawkman are like all I care about recently, and like specifically like all the showcase Mystery in Space, and Atom, like singular, the Atom comic is fun. I've been reading through a lot of it lately. It's just very it's fun. It's just fun. So the next one that I picked up, which was a pretty cool one, is Atom number 7, which is the first team up of Hawkman and the Atom, and just like a pretty cool fucking cover. You're
just all about these Hawkman team ups.
No, it's just, I just happened to find it, and and I knew what the book was, and it was there, and it was priced at. It's estimated a 4.0 grade, which I think is a reasonable grade for the book. And it was listed at 25, and I got all these books at discount because I bought them on Sunday. So they were all like either somewhere between 25 to 50% off.
Did you only go on Sunday, or did you go Saturday and Sunday?
No, I went Saturday. I walked around on Saturday, talked mostly. I commissioned the 2 pieces of work that I did on Saturday and then waited to buy books on Sunday. That's usually what I do.
Did you throw around that you were in the Comic Book Fiend Club?
So, no, I did.
I'm in this little
bro. Listen, club, legitimately, I don't have my. If I had my vest, I would have worn it. I just don't have it. And also,
it's
like,
better off that way.
It was it was mostly children walking around dressed up like anime characters. All right, so I'll say my favorite. Oh, hold on, let's do this one too. And then, so just another.
That first book, before you move on to that first book, what does something like that run you? If you don't want to say the price you paid, that's fine.
That's fine. No, that's fine. So this is like I have this book multiple times, right? This is the 5th copy of this book I bought, and so like they have it listed as a 6.5, 6.5 graded in 40 bucks.
Okay.
I paid because this was like, I bought multiple books. I got a little bit of bargain. I was like, hey, let me buy. I walked up and I was like, hey, Mystery in Space, Strange Adventures. I named, a few books, and they're like, oh, and I walked over and we looked around, we talked, whatever. So like I probably paid anywhere between roughly like probably an average of 25% off for all these books. So $40. I don't know what the math is. Maybe $35. Definitely worth it for these books. And all black cover, like this DC paper, like this this DC paper, and in pretty good shape, like 6.5 easily, absolutely. So worth it.
It's a cool cover too.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
And I mean obviously these books you like Adam Strange, obviously.
Right. But I mean, like it's like Carmine Infantino, and then like the Gil Kane, there's the Murphy Anderson stuff, and it's just all this stuff, like especially like the same with the Atom and Hawkman, like it's stuff that like it's not Batman and Flash. You know what I mean? Like we all know like Carmine Infantino, Batman and Flash is amazing. Yes, I know that. That shit is also stupid expensive, and like an off issue costs you $80 in low grade. Like, so it's just so difficult to collect that at like a level to like read the books and have fun with it and enjoy it. So his art in these books is better, in my opinion, if not just as good as any of that art. And
it's a cooler character, period.
And the characters are just so much crazier, like so much more out there. It's so much fun.
They have so much pubic hair.
And like the bad guys are the best part. So like Mystery in Space 78, another Carmine Infantino. This one's a little a little weirder, but so like Alana is like being taken by the eclipse of the sun. It's just a fun book, dude. Like I was flipping through it, reading some of it. I haven't read all of these. Here's the guy I love. I don't recall his name, but like some brainiac looking motherfucker controlling little rock people, and like it's just so much. It's just fun. But then you also have to read like paragraphs, so it's fun to read. And then I have something that you guys will enjoy before I show you my second favorite pickup. I'll show this just because I like Jason Moore, like issue 9 Swipe. I have a text from him like early in the morning, the day after. He's like, he said, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, I made the executive decision to do an homage because we talked about Bernie and Bissett and everything the day before. And so he did 9, so 2 coincidences. I was thinking about how 9 was my favorite, and I recently
that's one of the best covers. I
think so, yeah. And I said to him like, or I didn't say, but like I was thinking in my head like, I just got that 9.8 from it. Like I really love that cover. Like it's my favorite. It's the one I have like the shirt. And he texted me the next day and was like, I did this homage, and I'm like, oh, I hope he's like, I hope you're okay with it. And I walked up, I looked at it, I was like, this is 9. He goes, that's my favorite cover. I was like, mine too. And it just worked. And I never said anything to him. And then later, I wanted that Adam Strange piece from Jay Lee to have Starro. I think I even said that to you guys in the chat. I was like, I wanted him to do Starro, but didn't ask because I didn't want to get charged for a second character appearance in the piece because you have to pay extra. if there's this, and the next fucking day I walk up and I look and it's not done, but I like look over his shoulder and I just see the stars on it, like the little starros on it, and I'm like, it fucking happened. Like so much came together. I was like,
so what did you ask him to do? Just Strange, or what did you?
Yeah, so we talked. I walked up to him and I was like, we talked about his prices. I talked about like what I could get, like how much he could accomplish. I told him, I'd be here. Like, are you just doing pencils? Are you doing inks? We talked through everything, right? And my first thought was like, I'm gonna continue doing some more Swamp Thing stuff. You draw a really crazy Venom that has that like Venom stuff. And I feel like it might look good with some type of Swamp Thing picture. And he's like, yeah, I think that fits my, he's like, what else are you feeling? And I was like, well, I also love the way you draw Superman. Like the way you draw Superman has that like classic look, but it's also just very different. And it's the same type of character to Adam Strange. And I said Adam Strange, and I said, and he instantly went into like Famous Funnies and like Frank Frazetta and like Wally Wood and all these different characters and Flash Gordon. And I was like, all right, let's do that. And he's like, I've never done it before. I've never drawn Adam Strange. It would be the only piece ever that exists that I've drawn that is Adam Strange. And he's like, and I'll tell you what, there will be some cool ass monster in it. And I'm like, fucking perfect. Take all my money. Here we go. Like, here's all the money. I'm good.
He's pretty expensive too.
I mean, yeah. I think it's reasonable. Like, I think it's worth it, right? The cost.
So I think the little
I've been charged.
Head I have is like this big, and it was like $100 or something like that. And it was like a
rare.
real.
Yeah, I've been charged way more for artists that I don't think deliver as much. No. I mean, the detail that was in that piece for me was well worth what I paid.
Right.
And and the fact that the star was there, like, I mean, it was fantastic. Yeah, I'm really stoked about it.
So what does it look like?
What does it look like? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can bring it up. Hold on.
Have you not got it yet?
No,
he dropped it off at Michael's already.
Yeah, I dropped it off immediately the day I picked it up. I drove back here, and I didn't even come home. I went directly to Michael's and dropped it off to get it framed.
How far was the con from where you're staying?
It's only like 2 hours. Not bad, but I stayed there because I went on. Here, I'll get it right now.
Yeah, I would drive 2 hours back and forth twice.
Fuck that.
There you go.
There you go. So there you go, right? Adam Strange, all the Starros. He even pointed out, which he laughed about, which he thought was awesome. Like, if you look at the one right by his face, he said he's like, there's also little Starro butts. So you draw like little butts on them. So there's a bunch of them that have, like, there's a couple of them or two of them that have the little butt on it.
Yeah.
And he was so excited to point that out. He's like, they even have cute little Starro butts. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. There's like, I think there's a level of satisfaction when you commission a piece that the artist is so excited about doing, right? Like, I think that gives you a level of satisfaction, like, he like respects my decision in this and like is excited about my thought process of this. And I think it like adds something to it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm sure you get that, Tom.
100%. It's always nicer when you hand something to an artist and they get to do something they enjoy, and it brings both of you joy after it's finished. You know what I mean? That's great.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that, being an artist myself.
No, that's
not the guy that actually draws.
I actually did some trash polka tattoo today, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a level of permanence to what you do. Obviously, that's far more than anything else. So I didn't mean to undermine you, Alan. I just meant that Tom commissions or has commissioned.
I never showed y'all
a lot of art.
I went to a con. I showed Tom, but I had got Tom a sketch. It's actually right here in front of me.
Ooh, look at that!
I had gotten Tom a little swap.
Gray. Is that beard that gray?
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking crazy gray. So there's a guy, like I was like, man, I'm gonna get Tom something at this little comic this con that I went to, and it's like by a guy who does like Archie comics, like the newer Archie stuff, and he did a Swamp Thing.
Oh.
Because I was like looking, and like a lot of people that I was asking, because I went Saturday, and they were like, "Are you gonna stay for the whole day?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna leave early on Sunday." So when you're not giving somebody like a good amount of time to draw stuff, I was like, I don't want to, rush somebody to draw something because I need it, the next day. And I was like, hey man, I just saw him. He's just like they have like the people that are just like not really big. They're just kind of there. And I was like, this would be fun. I'm sure he doesn't have like an Archie kind of looking Swamp Thing done. And the guy was, yeah, I'd do it like in an hour. I was like, all right, cool.
That's awesome.
That's great. There was this other guy there though. I wanted to do. He did like these like really like I think I started following him on Instagram, but I can't remember what his name was. He did like these fucking watercolor paintings, and I had asked him first, and he was like, "Man, it's probably going to take me a while." Okay. Wait, what are you doing? I thought you were telling me to shut up.
Oh no,
for me? No. I'm trying to focus my camera. No, talk. I'm listening to you. No,
but he was like, it's going to take me, a day and a half or whatever to do it. And I was like, I can't, I felt bad. He was like, what are you thinking about getting done? And I was like, oh, I want to get a Swamp Thing for my buddy. And he was like, I would fucking love to do a Swamp Thing. And I was like,
yeah, that's
God
awesome.
Damn it. And I didn't have the time. So I was like, fuck, man, whatever. I'll just have Archie. Archie guy, dude. So I can find this guy.
Some of my favorite sketches are from people that aren't like super popular artists. It's great.
I agree. I think like you tend to find like those artists who like have this super high level quality of art, and like Jason Moore, who did that Swamp Thing one for me, right? Like he's an inker, and he's not like super well known, but like. Did you see that Tank Girl one with the zombie that I posted?
Yeah.
So like that, I was like literally talking to him, like trying to talk to him through price, and he literally was like, "Listen, I'm gonna price this so high because I really don't want to sell it to you."
That's funny.
He's like, that's literally. He's just like, I just don't ever want anyone else to own this, and I was like, "Yeah, I understand that. Like, this is phenomenal, right?" Like, and he's like, "Yeah, so like here, like it's just gonna be a stupid price and." If you offer me that, I may even say no and say it's higher. I mean, he was being somewhat, facetious, but like it was still, I respected it.
What was the price he said again? I don't remember.
He said $1,000, which didn't seem crazy. I mean, that's crazy for, I guess, him, because like his art doesn't really go for that much, right? Like this Swamp Thing piece, right? I paid $150 for this, right?
That's you're not gonna. That's a good deal.
That's a phenomenal deal, right? And that's with the book, right? So the book was there.
Oh, he had the blank.
Yeah, he had the blanks. He had I almost got he had the Hellblazer, and then I was like, all right, I have enough John Constantine sketches and stuff. Like I don't need any more of that. And then the Swamp Thing one was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that one instead. He had a bunch of different stuff. He had something. It wasn't a crow book. What the fuck was it? I don't remember. Anyways,
it was an actual crow.
Well, I'll show you what. I got a few more things real quick, and like this is like stuff I never purchased, but again, this was like more of like that. Anime con, toy con, like tons of toys. Ninja Turtles, bro, like you would have fucking loved it. There was Ninja Turtle toys everywhere. Video games, it was like crazy the amount of video games that were there. Like original Japanese systems, like PS1 original Japanese in box sealed, like some pretty crazy shit. But
wild cats.
So one of the things is they do all those like Lego stuff. They had a huge Lego area, so I did like this. I got these little fucking horror Legos that were pretty cool. I've never seen these before. I don't know. I've seen them, but I've never bought them before. They were fucking $1 a piece or whatever it was. No, it was a little bit more than that. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Whenever we end the podcast, Mike's gonna put those little Legos inside of himself.
This one was my favorite, probably, right? Captain Spaulding. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
One. Yeah. Did I do the Jack? This one? Yeah. Here's Johnny. And then this is for you boys.
Here's Johnny.
So these were all 50% off, and so pretty cool, like little run. I just bought whatever they had. What I really wanted this. I love this cover with the bullets.
It's a great cover.
Great cover. And then the real one I really wanted. That's good cover, but this is one of the best covers, right? We all know that.
There's so many great covers, though.
Yeah, no, there is.
Brian Boland, I think, did some of his best work on that run. Those covers. Between that and the Animal Man covers, like, are fucking great.
Yeah,
I have so much shit to send to you, Tom.
That's true. I know. You should just wait and give it to me all in March. When I go there.
That reminds me, I have to fucking call that. I need to go to that shop or something because I still haven't heard anything from them. I like check my fucking missed calls all the time, and now I'm thinking like, how am I going to send all this shit to Tom? Like, I got some animal man
box.
And I reread those. I read those Dread books, and they're just so much fun. Okay, and then so this is a book I've never owned, which I've always wanted to, and I never pulled the trigger on. But for whatever reason, I bought it raw, which I've never would have thought I would have, just based on the way I collect comics, especially these types. But it's just such a stunning book, and this is a pretty high quality. I'm gonna submit it to CGC, and I think I might have struck a little bit of gold here. So Showcase 80, right? So first Silver Age Phantom Stranger, Neil Adams cover, and it's pretty fucking clean. I mean, it's got like some staining. The page quality is not great. It's probably cream off-white, but I feel like it's pretty high grade. And it was a pretty good price. So that's the last pickup. Yeah.
So with it being 2 hours away from you, would you go back next year?
I would. No, I don't know. If I had the time and really had nothing to do, I would drive up there early in the morning. Like 2 hours to me doesn't feel like a long drive. Like really, like
2 hours is a long time, though.
It is. It's 4 hours when you think about it, right? Yeah. In reality. I probably wouldn't. Like if there was a reason to go, I would consider it. Knowing what I know about the con now, like it's not really. It's like there's no real comics there, so it's like if I knew there was other people going there and I could hang out and like go eat lunch or dinner with people and like have fun, then I'd absolutely do it. But the con itself,
if I met a man,
I don't know. Yep, if I did that,
he was rubbing his belly and I was like eating a donut.
I mean, for what it was, like they did all that like Comic-Con bullshit. Like they had their like little anime cosplay like whatever party, and they did like the whole contest and all that other bullshit. There was like gaming stations set up where you could go play like original Nintendo or like Super Nintendo, like all that other stuff. Like it was cool. Like yeah, it was whatever.
These kids don't own a Switch at home, or what is?
What? Excuse me. Sorry. What?
I was like, these kids don't own a Switch at home. They have to actually. They're excited to play an original Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fuck these kids. Fucking kids. They're all assholes. I'll tell you that much. I'm getting old. I'll tell you that.
You know what affects the kids.
I'm walking up to the booths and I'm just like, ugh. Nobody cares about comics anymore.
What kind of comic books you got?
Yeah, there was some modern comic flippers that just had like 9/8 of like stupid stuff. It's always fun to watch that. All right.
So, the con I went to over the weekend was called Designer Con out of Anaheim. It happens there every year. And it's mostly based more on like custom figures, like Sofubi style figures, like vinyl toys and things like that. There's not comics there, period. It's not even a show you should assume that there are. It's based on toys and whatnot. So it's cool to go. And I know I've gone for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years. I always go by myself. I don't know anyone else that goes. But it's a cool show that I like to go to. There's the door. I was trying to avoid that, but I couldn't stop mid-sentence. The cool thing for this year was Andrew McLean from Headlopper was there. And he had all 4 trades. Unfortunately, he sold out before Sunday when I got there. But he was definitely kind enough to sign all of my copies and give a cool little sketch in every single one of them. Super quick and whatnot, but they're real neat. There's the other one.
Did you buy the trades there, or did you already have all of those?
So I knew he was going to be there, so I had all 3 trades already. I bought them all when we reviewed them. There's that one, and he did sign my sketchbook too, and did a little what's his name, Nargal or whatever, or is that the guy from Behemoth? I don't remember. Either way. I wanted to buy Volume 4 because Volume 4 just came out and I haven't read that yet, but he did sell out of that before I got there. He did, his wife, I believe, is who it was. I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. I think it's his wife. Super, super nice lady. I chatted with her more than him, actually. And she has a bunch back home. Volume 4s that were already signed and have a little like sketch played in and stuff like that. And so I was able to order one with her while she was there, and it was $17 shipped, which is like cheaper than the book would be on the shelf.
It's it's trade paper, like regular trade, like
yeah. So this volume is $19.99. And he charged me $17 flat for a signed copy of Volume 4. So
you think they just get a certain amount that they can do whatever they want with, or
maybe she was sweet on you.
Maybe that's with my girlfriend standing next to me, maybe she was into the whole 3-way situation, which
maybe she was willing to take a loss on that book just to talk to you longer.
Yeah, it was. He told me
that sounds reasonable.
They used to ship everything themselves from their own store, and she said it was too much work. She was like, I would wait 3 or 4 days before I would ship stuff, and it was, things would pile up, and it was a pain in the ass. And she goes, so now we have a company that is like 4 or 5 people, and they'll ship stuff either 3 hours after you place an order, and all of their stuff is ready to go, and it's all his stuff. I guess he signed a bunch of plates and whatnot that went into Volume 4, so they were all ready to go. I bought it on Sunday, and I got a shipping notice on Monday that it was already on its way. I think it's scheduled to be here tomorrow or the next day, so they're real fucking quick about it. But yeah, $17 flat was fantastic. The show itself was cool. I can't justify spending $200 on like a little thing of plastic most of the time. So there's a lot of cool stuff to look at, but I didn't necessarily buy anything.
So explain it a little bit more. So like I saw the Man Thing things that you posted like in our chat, but like what do you mean these little plastic? Like what is it? Like are they?
So
they're toys.
Well, I mean I know they're toys. I mean,
there's crazy expensive things over there. There's like MediaCom has its own booth, and it's huge, and it's like massive plastic figures like Godzilla figures, and they're very they're not like super hyper detailed. They look very like it's I hate to say it, but like it's a very hipstery type of thing to collect, in my opinion. You know, all the people that are at that show, I would never consider them to be a collector of anything, you know, and it's very surprising to me that they're there and they want to spend $200 on this chunk of plastic. And, you know, it's a bunch of guys that are printing their own toys or sending them out to a lot of them. I want to say 90% are all made in overseas, like in China or Japan. I'm not sure. But that's the style of figure, like the Safubi style of vinyl, you don't make out here. It's all made out there. Like people have tried to do it out here and things like that. And everything I've heard of is like people don't understand how it works. They don't get it right. And so almost everything like that is all made out there and shipped out here.
Yeah. So when you think about like the difference between like, like I was looking at the website, but like the difference is like those guys on Instagram, like I forget their names, but those guys that make those like Swamp Thing figures that you know I forget whatever the names are, like that stuff's like they're using molds, they're like mixing or doing whatever the fuck they're doing to make this stuff. Like that's hyper like that takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice and attention and all this other stuff, right? Like so the stuff that is out there is like kind of like, is it like what, like 3D printed, or is it just mass produced? Is it just like shitty? Like it's
definitely, you know, the $200 price tags, again, I could never bring myself to pay something like that. But at the same time, there's like 7 of these things, period.
So,
and they do like different paint variations a lot of the time, or like when they make the mold and they pour it, they use different colors. And so there's like 2 of this one that looks this way kind of deal. And so
they are more or less like handmade.
Yeah, no, 100%. They definitely are. 90% of them are all super small run items. The Mondo one obviously is not. You know, that's the Man Thing you were talking about a second ago is put out by Mondo. But at the same time, a good buddy of mine used to work for Mondo in his own garage. And he would pour molds in his own garage for these figures that they would put out. So it's still pretty small if people like that are doing it. You know what I mean? So it's no matter what, it's small run stuff. And there's a lot of things that are just weird. Like the choice, I don't understand. I don't get a lot of it because they'll take characters, or like I saw some the fuck is the McDonald's guy? Ronald McDonald? Like there was like a weightlifter version of Ronald McDonald. Like he's fucking ripped as all hell and he was like flexing or something. And there's like 2 of them on this guy's booth. And it's like, why did anyone even choose to make that? And why is someone going to spend over $200 on that? Like, I don't get it, but
don't question art, Tom.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think it's 100% someone taking a action figure and making it into artwork instead of making it into a fucking action figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's so subjective. It's so subjective, but like, I think about the dude, I forget his name, but that dude that does all the stuff with the Simpsons. He does all that crazy artwork, and it's just like pretty much the same couple drawings of Simpson characters, and he just does all these kind of layers to it, and like, I don't know that like, it doesn't seem original enough to like resonate with me, but then it also at the same time, it's like, it seems very, it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So, like, you know, Andrew McLean that I was talking about, Headlopper, he was selling a lot of toys that he made. And so, like, this is the kind of thing you get. It's like a tiger with an Uzi and some sleek pants. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of stuff that is sold at DesignerCon, and I don't really understand it completely. Like, I don't get the, maybe because I like certain characters and certain things, so I focus on things like that. But like just a weird cat, you know what I mean? I just don't. It's really hard to spend hundreds of dollars on.
How much was he selling the little tigers with the Uzis for?
Let me see if I can see it on his table. It was so Commander Thunderfang is the name of the cat, and there are 3 paint variations of Commander Thunderfang, and he was selling them for $150
a piece. Jesus
a
Christ.
piece. Yes.
Jesus.
I mean, but
let me.
I guess if you're into like those, I mean, I just don't collect toys.
Yeah,
Right.
me neither.
And like whenever I went to this this con in San Antonio, there was this guy selling books, and he made his own little vinyl toys. They were fucking cool as shit. But he was like, I was like, how much are they? And he was like, oh, they're $120. And I'm like, I don't even. They're not painted. They're cool as fuck. And yeah, I mean, they're awesome. But I'm not gonna pay $120 for a fucking toy that I'm not going to ever play with. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of guys there that'll sell blank versions of their figures, so
you
can paint yourselves and that kind of thing. And and they're just as expensive as painted ones, and I don't get that either.
I mean, they're cool. I mean, I like the guy. They were like cool little mutant fucking things with spikes and shit. And I was like, yeah, these are really cool. And he's like, oh, the smaller ones are $80. And I'm like, what?
That's why I go every year. It's cool to look at. I just can't bring myself to spend that money. Like,
let me ask you. Go ahead. Finish. No, let me ask you this. So, like, was there anything that you walked by, you looked at, and like there was a second or a few minutes in your head where you're like, I might buy that?
Yes, there was 2.
Yeah, okay. Well, what
things.
Was it?
So the first thing was a figure, and it's based off of a character that's made by Killer Bootlegs, I think is the name, and they did a comic book as well with Black Mask, I feel. I'm not 100% sure. And it's this cool space dude. And so what they did was they made like a little 3 3/4 figure, like kind of looks like a reaction figure, and they had it on a card, and the card was like a painting done that was used as one of the comic book covers, and it was only $30. And I was like, that is cool. It ties into the book that I like. It ties into this whole thing, and I was like, that's cool. I didn't do it. The one other thing that I liked a lot was Chris Sherry, the artist who draws like all of the Descendants album covers, all their merchandise. He draws all their All's merchandise and everything, blah, blah, blah. Super cool dude. He drew in my sketchbook too. But he had a bunch of Sharpie drawings, and that's like his deal is he draws with Sharpies all the time. And he had one, I'm 99% sure it was an album cover, and I don't know the actual band, so I kind of feel bad. But it's like a guy, and he's like holding like a wiener dog, and it was like an 8x10 kind of like comic board or something he drew it on. But I liked it a ton, and I've had multiple wiener dogs growing up in my life, so it was super cool to me. But it was $100 for a Sharpie drawing, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $100. I didn't go there planning on buying anything, and so I walked past it. But those were the 2 things.
That's fun. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's fun to see like different things. Like,
yeah,
I don't like necessarily. I don't know. Like, it depends on what you're expecting, right? But like, as long as you go in with like the proper expectations, like. Going to a con, like I read about Grand Rapids. I knew it was like minimal as far as like actual comic book vendors, and there was going to be a lot of anime stuff, and there's going to be a ton of toys and video games. And I was interested, like, in looking at, dude. I saw video games I've never seen in I've never heard of in my life. Like all like fucking, just like Japanese. And they were like, none of it was like, a lot of it was like bullshit, like it was pretty like, yeah. But it was interesting. It was fun to look through it. Tom Paul?
No, I have two different mini fridges behind the bar, and I thought I put my soda in both of them, but one of them was empty, so it was just full of beer, which I don't understand because my roommate stopped drinking beer, so I don't know where that came from. But I found it. We're good. Do we want to talk about Eternals? Was it boring? Hands up if you got bored.
It was boring. The very first part of the movie is very boring.
I don't think it was necessarily the first part. It just got boring through most of it.
Yeah.
There were definitely parts I liked. There were characters I liked, but overall, there was nothing that was like, "Fuck, this is cool." You know what I mean?
Well, there was no real like bad guy. I mean, even what's his name? Fucking Icarus. I mean, was he really the bad guy? Like, and then the deviant person wasn't really the bad guy. Like, he was trying to. I didn't understand that part. There's the part where they're fighting Icarus, and then the deviant guy tries to help them fight Icarus, and they're just like, "What the fuck? Why are you trying to help us?" Like, they start fighting him. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
Yeah.
You want to know one of the thoughts I had throughout the entire movie was Icarus, like about Icarus. I was like, do I think he's more of like an evil Superman or like more of an Omni-Man? That's what I kept thinking to myself over and over again. And I couldn't decide. Like, I don't think like, I think the thing about a lot of these movies is like, we just expect them all to be like Infinity War, like now, like it's going to be great and it's going to be epic. And like, this was like, it was good. It was okay. Like, it was fine. Like, I was whatever. I was happy that I watched it. I wasn't pissed off about the time I spent. I enjoyed it. I saw it in a big theater in IMAX. Like, the action was really fun. It felt slow. It felt like it was out of pace at points. Like, it wasn't spectacular, but it was fine. It was good. I was happy with it.
The inclusion of some of the characters was cool, like the sexuality aspect of some characters.
Yeah.
The fact that we have a deaf character was neat, which I got free tickets to this show from some friends that I had other friends bail, apparently. And they didn't even realize they bought tickets to a closed caption viewing of this movie because the whole row in front of us were all signing to each other. And I looked at my friends. I'm like, are you guys fucking realizing where we are right now? And they were like, what? And the trailers started with closed captions. And I was like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Hey, be happy that they were signing because I saw a movie with closed captioning before, and there were like people behind us that were deaf going, eh, eh. And I was like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
I'm not even going to talk about that.
Well, it's funny. Whenever I was in high school, I used to like there was like my aunt and uncle lived next door to these deaf people. It was like 6 of them in this apartment, and I used to go over there and smoke weed with them. And it was the greatest thing in the whole wide world because their TV would always be turned up way too loud. And then they'd just be like, give me weed. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's definitely something to, I mean, it was a thing. when you're high and you're a fucking,
a teenager.
I don't know if I could keep myself together at that point.
They were like super cool. They were like all like they were like older, like a bunch of older couples. So they were just fucking super cool, and they just smoked weed, and they would just scream at each other, and it was the fucking funniest thing in the world. I'm like, none of y'all can hear. What are y'all doing? Like, there's
the part of that I'm super curious about is like, you may not be able to hear someone else speaking to you, but you can feel the vibration of when you're yelling or when you're making noise. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know that you're making noise, but you're making noise to a person that can't hear you, wouldn't you stop?
Well, maybe it's kind of like whenever you're wearing headphones and you're talking to someone and you don't realize how loud you are.
Right.
I think there's something more like natural about like the release of like
because they were signing.
If you were like, think about it this way, right? Like, if you're deaf, do you think if you're angry and you just like yell at the top of your lungs, like that's gonna like
sure
that's have the same effect on you no matter what, right? Like that kind of like just that natural response is like I think is yeah. So like I think there's probably a level 2 as well where they just don't know, like a lot of folks like don't notice that that's happening maybe as well.
I'm curious.
Yeah. It's, yeah. But you know, talking about the Eternals, like I guess like my thing about it is I just don't know where are we going? Like they have like I'll say full spoilers, but like for all people that are watching, but like
Selma Hayek had some big titties. I forgot how big her fucking titties were, man.
yeah,
Jesus.
she's still
Yeah.
she's still hot, man. She's like still I loved her from Dawn of the Dead. Yeah,
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah,
I watched
Dusk Till Dawn. That's
I
what it
watched
was.
that just the other day because I got a VHS copy, and I was like, I haven't watched this in a while. And I put it on, and when she sticks her foot in fucking Quentin Tarantino's mouth and like pours the liquor down her foot to where he drinks it, like I don't have a foot fetish, but girl, you do that any time of the day.
It's probably the only tattoo, or probably the only movie where tribal tattoo is actually pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I remember seeing that like tattoo that George Clooney had, and I was like, as a kid, I was like, that's a pretty cool fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always had this story in the back of my head that was a real tattoo, and he's had to cover it up in every other movie. And I don't know. I believed that for years as a kid, and I don't know why. But
he got that right after ER.
Like,
What is that? He got all that ER money. He got that big tribal tattoo.
that giant phoenix that Ben Affleck has on his back.
Yeah,
it's so bad. It is fucking horrible.
Yeah, God, what the fuck were we talking about? I just don't. Ultimately I don't know where they're going with this, right? Like, and I guess like.
Well, they're gonna make a sequel because it says the Eternals will be back at the end of it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. So like Eros is coming in, and like you have like essentially the Black Knight, who really wasn't in this, who was like teased the whole time to be in this, but doesn't really matter or exist at all as far as just being like the whatever, you know.
So the question is, are they just going to make sure the Eternals come back when the what are the Kirby characters, the
Celestials?
Yeah, thank you. When he comes back and decides whether or not the world can live, and then they'll be like, maybe he goes no, and then the Eternals have to come back, help out other heroes, blah blah blah, and defeat another Celestial. Or do you think they're just gonna sprinkle them in randomly?
Well, it was weird to me that they only took the 3 of them. Like they didn't take all. Like they all didn't go with the big guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That was kind of weird.
Camille, that was the most annoying thing in the entire movie for me.
You told me.
Yeah, is when Camille and Johnny, or however you say his last name, he's like, hey, I don't want to fight Icarus because that's not going to work, and I believe in what he's talking about, and I don't want to fight the rest of you guys, so I'm going to bail. And then everything takes place, everyone fights each other, and then he's back at the end like, oh, I got to take Sprout to school. Everything's cool, right? And it's like, what the fuck? No. Why are they cool with him just being back? Like, it seems like editing was shitty, or maybe writing was shitty. It just seemed really weird to just bring him back and like, it's fine.
No big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was the best part of the movie, though.
I mean, him and his manager were the best part of the.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I wish the one kid, the one that can control people's minds.
Yeah.
So his real power, he's like the. It's like he controls nightmares and shit like that.
Ah, that is cooler.
That isn't like his. If I'm thinking it's right, like his name is like Druid or something like that in them. Yeah. He's like he controls nightmares and all this other shit. So I was just kind of like, I guess like controlling people is pretty cool, but it would be way cooler if he was controlling people's nightmares, like creating fucking nightmares.
Yeah, I like the controlling, like that thing. It just seems so like it's so like it just seems so evil, like, and so almost like personal and gross, like to be able to make somebody do something like. The dude from Jessica Jones, Purple Man, right? Like I didn't really like much of those, but the season with him was pretty good. And then like even recently with God, what the fuck was in Dune, like the voice, using the voice to make them move, like it's such
Right.
great power. Like to make them fucking kill each other, like I love it's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So overall, I think everyone has more of like that was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah. I think I mean I'd watch it again on Disney Plus, right? Because I pay for the service and whatever. I'd be happy to see those characters show up again in other things.
I don't see the storyline that they created in that movie necessarily being something going forward soon. You know, if they bring them back to talk about a certain thing that happened in that movie, you know, it's going to be a while because we obviously have the whole multiverse thing happening with 2 different TV shows and now Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be the deal for the next.
Yeah.
What?
And did Icarus really die when he flew into the sun?
Right. There's no showing of what happened to him besides him flying towards it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the fuck? The other thing is, like, it's like all of this shit is out of whack because, like, this movie was supposed to come out, like, what? Fucking a year, even longer, like 18 months ago.
Where are they supposed to go with this story?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why that might be a reason why it was maybe less impactful was, you know, we know that the next storyline has nothing to do with this at all. And we're focused. Marvel has groomed us to focus on what comes next. You know what I mean? And all of it has been, all instead of focusing on what you just watched. It's just,
right. Rather than enjoying what you just watched, like, what does this mean? It's like,
why does this lead into this? You know, and so everything has been about the multiverse. And then you throw this random movie in there that is like, oh, this is how the whole universe was created. And it's like, oh, we don't care about that, but you know,
I just want to see Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Because it should have been like Black Widow, this, right? And like that was like dealing with the aftermath of everything that happened with the whatever, the snap or whatever the fuck they call it, the blip.
Yeah.
Do either of you think like, so we're a couple of like Marvel things in now, and I honestly think that Black Widow's been my favorite since this kind of like return, and I probably would have never thought that that's what I would have said ever in my life, like prior. But like when I think about it, like that was my favorite movie, I think, overall. Like it was funny and the action was great. Like it was like a spy thing. I don't know.
Out of what you're saying between Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and the shows that have come out this year?
I mean, let's just say the movies. Let's just say the 3 movies that came out, right? Like I would have never thought that like Black Widow would have been the one that I was like stoked. Like it seemed like, I don't know, but it was the one that I enjoyed the most, I think.
It's like shitting in your hand 3 times and then saying like which pile of shit you like the most.
So you just hate all of them.
I rewatched because I seen Shang-Chi whenever it first came out, and I rewatched it the other day. I liked the whole movie up until the very end. Like the whole dragon fighting the other dragon. I was like, this is kind of stupid. Like,
it became very
the whole like the ant on the water. I don't know what the fuck. She's like standing like on the thing. She's like, oh, you can do it. And I'm just like,
the best thing about that was so like stupid. The street level, like
the fight on the bus was fucking amazing.
Yeah. The street level stuff, like reminiscent of like old like kung fu movies, like that kind of Jackie Chan style movie, like was really fun. It was a great movie. The end was it just became
it lasted so long. I was like, Jesus Christ, when is this?
It was an Iron Fist movie. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. What are we reading next week?
What are we reading next week? We didn't even pick anything to read.
We didn't,
No.
and we're not going to talk about it because we'll figure it out in the next 4 days. It's not like anyone's reading these before us. We know that. So, how about this? Actually, I should be getting a Kickstarter trade. Was it a trade? I don't remember. I'm gonna get an early book from Kickstarter that doesn't come out till next year. Maybe we could read that and talk about that because I'll have the PDF of that pretty soon. Hopefully in time.
Do we follow up?
I take that back. I don't even know how we're gonna do this because I'm gonna be in Florida for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, wait. Let's level set for a second here. Next week is Thanksgiving. I'm flying away. I'm flying to Vermont. I won't be able to do it. So we have a postpone. We'll be back with more news at a later date.
Perfect.
We'll see you guys 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, 3 weeks sounds great. We'll see you in December. So thank you for watching today.
Well, I mean, maybe we can
if you want to, I gotta tell you, the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, I already have tickets to see a show at the House of Blues in Orlando, so I couldn't do that day.
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say though, maybe like we can do another hi, I'm Tom and me, Pirate Alan, and we could just do like a little show just by ourselves.
If you want to do
Alan,
we'll see
Tom Allen, Allen,
right?
AKA Paul Allen.
The world is Alan.
The world is Alan.
We'll see you guys in December.
And just remember that.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Feliz Navidad. So I think
it's me, Aaron, the strongest man in the history of comic books.